truly pass in a meaningful way, when we don't have that level of representation in our democracy, how truly can we have what the people want and what the people need actually come into fruition? And so there are so many issues with that pipeline of, the way we think about our government and the way we think about democracy, in the sense that, we have people out here and we're really trying to empower people to become part of, thank you. No worries at all. No, it happened. I was just going off about exactly what you were saying about, really becoming more welcoming in the way that we have our electoral politics, making sure that it is representative of Black and Brown communities, the exact communities, your actual district, the one that's the most impacted by coronavirus.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
And so I think what really compels me about the profundity of that level of, the Black and Brown communities and representation and everything, and the climate crisis, is the way that you so brilliantly linked those together in the Green New Deal. I feel like a lot of your colleagues have not actually read the Green New Deal. Could you give us a little breakdown of what exactly that is, just in case they're watching?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I guess I don't fault a lot of them for not reading it, because a lot of them don't read most of the legislation.
That's the tea. That's the tea.
But it is very short, and the Green New Deal, it was very important to me that it was readable by the average person. Most laws and bills, they are written and they can be very complicated. And they are, it's almost like you need to have a law degree to almost fully understand what's in legislation. And it was actually very important to me that we wrote this bill in plain English, so people knew exactly what we were standing for. And so an everyday person, you don't need to have a special degree, you don't need anything in order to read the Green New Deal. And I think that's something that's very beautiful about it. So when it comes to the Green New Deal, and this is the thing that's so funny about it, is that Republicans are like, this costs $11 trillion. And, this bans ice cream and cows and like all these things. When in truth, the Green New Deal is actually a resolution. It's actually not a binding bill. It's a resolution, which means that if Congress passes it and if the House passes it, it's basically a sense of Congress. It's a commitment to ourselves to say that real deal climate legislation does a few things. One is that it seeks to decarbonize our economy on a rapid timescale. And the Green New Deal identifies a 10-year mark, because that is what is in line with the IPCC report. It is scientifically informed. This is scientifically informed legislation. I'm not here to tell you what is politically easy. I'm here to tell you what is scientifically necessary, and that we should commit to what is scientifically necessary in order to save future generations. So the first thing that the Green New Deal commits to is a dramatic decarbonization of our economy on a 10-year timeline. The second thing that it does is that it centers frontline communities and says, and rejects outright this idea and of this competition between economic prosperity and social justice. And if anything, both of these things are required, because the people who suffer the most economically are also people who suffer social injustices. And what that means is that we are going to bring frontline communities to the table to help lead this legislation. Everyone who is going to be impacted by this the most should have a seat at the table. And that is everyone from indigenous communities, in saying we need to honor our treaties with tribes and indigenous sovereignty so that we don't repeat what happened at Standing Rock, where, essentially corporations just doze through sacred sovereign indigenous land without consent. And that also includes folks like fossil fuel workers, not the companies, but coal miners and oil and gas workers. They need jobs. And these are entire industries that we need to transition the workers. And that includes fully funding their pensions if you have worked decades in this job, so that the transition to renewable energy does not equate to economic destitution for working people that are in these industries. Because a lot of these workers want to transition. They know, a lot of oil workers know that oil contributes to climate change. They know, coal miners, a lot of these coal miners, when I speak with them, when we're in community, a lot of them don't want their grandchildren exposed to the same cancerous risks that they are being exposed to. Mm-hmm. And the reason, that they're suffering so much is because there in a lot of communities, there aren't alternative options economically for this kind of work. So this isn't, so the second part is centering frontline communities. And the third part, and it's kind of in conjunction with what we're talking about, is centering workers' rights, and to say, we are not going to transition from a system of oil barons to solar barons.
Say it again. Say it for the cloud. Yeah.
What this means is that this isn't just about shifting to renewable energy. This is about a just transition of decarbonizing, yes, our energy. We do need to shift to renewable and clean energy, but also what we need to do is make sure that we are making life better for working people in the process. And those are the three core elements of the Green New Deal: decarbonization, frontline communities, and workers' rights and economic prosperity. That's what the Green New Deal is. That's what the framework is. And that's why Republicans are pissed. They're pissed, and they're making up price tags, and they are having the boogeyman saying that we are banning ice cream, because what they are actually more scared of than that is people having health insurance for once in their lives.
But how are you going to pay